I want to talk about a way to carry a few useful tools with you that is pretty slim and unobtrusive. And this is going to focus on a modular system that I've come up with to carry in a wallet. But first, let me talk about what kind of things you might actually need on a daily basis. This here is the Victorinox compact Swiss Army knife, and it's a pretty cool little Swiss Army knife. It's kind of got just the essentials. It's got their combo tool, which is a screwdriver that can do flatheads, and if you do it at an angle, supposedly it drives Phillips. It's supposedly also a can opener and a bottle cap lifter as well. So it kind of does all of those duties, and it has this sort of wire bender as well. Then, of course, it being a Swiss Army knife, it has the standard Swiss Army knife blade. And then the other main tool that it has is probably the most useful thing, which are the really awesome Victorinox scissors. And then on the back side, you basically have two main tools. You have the corkscrew, which also houses a little mini eyeglass screwdriver, which is super duper useful if you have sunglasses or eyeglasses. And then a slightly less useful multi-purpose hook. There's a few little tips and tricks for that, but really the thing that this has that almost no other Swiss Army knife has is the back of the hook has a little nail file here, which is actually kind of handy to have because that's something that you're going to really need. Most people might need to do just to touch up a nail that's chipped or something like that. Other than that, this has plus scales, so it has the standard tweezers, which are fine, the toothpick, which is also fine, and then usefully a small pen, which is not super comfortable, but can be used in a pinch, and you can actually put it underneath that multi-purpose hook, and it becomes a lot easier to write with. And then it has a little slot here, and I'm not going to take it all the way out because it's fiddly, but it has a pin, just like a standard kind of clothespin, which is all really good, if you're taking splinters out. So poking at little things like that. So pretty useful. Problem is, how do you carry this? You can get a pocket clip that attaches up here, clip it onto your pocket. You can put it in your fifth pocket. You can just put it in your pocket. Or probably what most people will end up doing is putting this into their bag. And then that's fine until you left your bag in your office and you're out at lunch and you really need the tool. Where is all of this stuff? Now, the compact is also expensive. I happened to get this one for a good deal. Well, it was cheaper on Amazon, but usually they're around $60 or more. And that's a lot of money to pay for a Swiss Army knife. So this is a really good knife, and I do carry this knife. But I was thinking, how could I take many of the functions that this thing has and basically slim it down into a way that it's going to pretty much always be on me no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing. And even if I have this in my pocket, it gives me some backups. And that comes to what you see here. Now, this is a custom wallet that I made out of just four pieces of 5-ounce veg tan leather. And it was a really simple pattern. I first sort of mocked it up with some heavy-duty construction paper, made sure that it would work for me, and then I have constructed the whole thing. And I've been using it now for a couple months, and I really like it. So firstly, the wallet design, it just has one quick access card for the card I use all the time. This is just my Prime Visa. And then the center pocket is big enough to have all the other things, IDs, a couple extra debit cards, that kind of stuff. And the real fun is on this side, which I designed to house a bunch of very slim tools. Now, let's go through these one by one, starting with the biggest one. And this is the Victorinox Alox Bantam. So it's also a Swiss Army knife. This is a little bit smaller than the 91 millimeter compact. This is an 84 millimeter knife. So it's a smaller knife in general, but it's also super duper slim. And that's because of these aluminum Alox scales compared to the plastic Celador scales here. So this thing is like ridiculously slim. If I put it here against the background, you can basically see. Very, very, very slim. And it has that same combo tool, a little bit smaller, but basically the same function. And it has that same very nice Victorinox knife. Again, a little smaller, but certainly very useful. So that covers one whole layer out of the compact, right? To get some of the other things, I got this, which is a classic SD 58 millimeter Victorinox Swiss Army knife, also in the Alox scales. So again, it is super duper slim. These guys are just about the same thickness, so they can live right next to each other, very flat, very compact in the wallet, okay? Now, this little guy has a knife, which I have modified. I've ground down on my diamond plate, just to give me a slightly different option, because firstly, the 58 millimeter knives in general are kind of fiddly, and I found that turning this into a straight blade profile just makes it a lot more useful. Opening packages, sort of any intricate kind of things that you need to carve something out. The tip is a little bit sort of more acute, so you can kind of dig into stuff. And heck, you could even whittle with this if you wanted to. So there is that blade. Then the other little main tool on this side is the nail file and screwdriver combination. Now this is actually quite a bit better of a nail file than what you get on the back here of the compact, and so this is going to be a lot more useful. And this little flathead screwdriver actually turns Phillips, so you don't have to rely on the sort of dubious quality of the combo tool to turn a Phillips, because you've got this sort of 2D Phillips driver here too as well. Then on the other side you have the scissors. Now these are definitely smaller than the scissors you get on the compact, but they're still Victorinox scissors and they still work really, really well. So a little bit of a downgrade, but I think an acceptable compromise to fit this thing into a wallet. And then I just have a couple other little tools here. And you'll notice for the 58 mil and for the next one, I made just these little pulls out of the same tiger thread. This is a waxed nylon thread that I use for my leather craft. I just made these little pulls to make it easier to get these guys out. This is the Keysmart NanoPliers. So this is actually adding something that we don't have in the compact here, which is a little set of pliers. Now these are pliers with quotes. You know, they're not super functional, but they're pretty beefy in terms of, if you think of them as like tweezers on steroids. But they also, if you notice there in the middle, they actually have the ability to turn a bolt head if you needed to as well. And what's really cool is that you can basically put this on the head of the bolt. You know, it's not going to do huge ones, but you know, up to a certain size. And then you can clamp it down on it, and then it kind of is hands-free. You can just use it for that extra leverage, right? But you know, also if you hold them like this, you can pull big splinters and, you know, pick up little tiny things like that. Just anytime you need a little extra helping hand, these are going to be really, really useful. And they do something that the tiny Victorinox pliers, or it's not pliers, Victorinox tweezers just don't do. I have also just sort of attached a little push tool. This is just something for, you know, pushing for SIM card extracts, and also kind of takes the place of that little pin. So if you need to probe things or, you know, pick out something like, you know, again, a splinter, these are things that you run into every day. This is going to be useful for that as well. Okay. And then finally, I have simply just taken a couple of tools from some other plus scales. The pen, always super useful. Again, it's not the most ergonomic, but you can definitely write with it if you need to sign. And I stuck in a pair of Victorinox tweezers as well, because again, while the NanoPliers over here definitely do stuff that these can't, these also can do things that can't. So again, mostly for pulling out splinters or something like that. So a good amount of usefulness that is put into a very flat space. And if I load all this stuff back in again, which I will try and do quickly here while I'm on camera, we can look at how thick this overall wallet is. And it really isn't that thick at all. It all goes together. And the total thickness is, let me just see if I can put this right on the measurement there. It's somewhere at around 3/4 of an inch, right? So not very thick at all. Certainly slim in terms of wallets. This little wallet is designed mostly to go into my front pocket. You can also slip it into a back pocket, okay. And it really adds no bulk, no weight at all, comparatively. Certainly gives me everything, pretty much everything, except for the corkscrew and maybe the mini screwdriver that I get in the compact at a very, with just a different way of carrying it. And because this is in my wallet with all the stuff that I need anyway, to buy things in my life, this is pretty much always going to be in my pocket. And that way I will not be without any of these sort of very useful things that I will tend to need from day to day. It doesn't give you any super duper emergency or outdoor type stuff, but definitely gives you some things that are useful for your daily life.